Good evening, everybody. Housing and Community Development Act Committee, first meeting of reviewing proposals tonight. We have a quorum. Just a reminder what we like you to do, and I don't know if you ever get calls from this or not, but we really like it if you introduce yourself first, say your organization, tell people how they can volunteer or contribute. It's very important because, who knows, somebody just might be listening. So the first organization is Youth Job Center for Evanston Youth Employment Programs. I see Cecil is here. Hi. Great job you're doing.
Thank you.
Hold on one second. This is not good for this setup. So how about, can some of you men or some of you ladies help move this so she can be seen? You know what I'm
It's not
saying?
necessary.
Mark will go.
Where do you want it all?
Just so that the camera can see her.
How about if we move it like over here maybe, at an angle?
In a little angle maybe.
We don't have much cord.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
You got that?
Yeah, we got them now.
Okay.
But we want to keep them angled. Does that work?
Like that?
Do you want to bring it over here? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that would
I
be.
don't
Yeah,
know.
we could do that. We've got it for enough cord. You're flexible, right?
It's just so important that you all get seen. That's even good,
Is that good?
unless Peter is being with you. Okay, sorry about that, but everybody should be seen.
Thank you. In the world of nonprofits, we're used to being flexible and adaptable. Good evening. My name is Cecilla Smith. I'm the Executive Director of the Youth Job Center located 1114 Church Street in downtown Evanston. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we may be contacted at area code 847-864-5627 or via the web at www.youthjobcenter.org. Once again, we stand before you requesting support for our recent CDBG grant application. And I want to thank you guys again for all of the time and effort that you put into reviewing all of our applications and giving them consideration, as well as for the support that we've received over the years. This year, the Youth Job Center celebrated its 30 years of empowering and employing young people. And so as we continue to learn from our past challenges and build upon our present and future successes, we understand that our mission is now more relevant and more necessary than ever. The YJC mission continues to be very clear, and I think very good in articulating the work that we do, why we do it, and how we do it. We provide youth ages 14 to 25 for success in the workplace through providing job placement, job readiness, and support in employment support in partnership with employers. All of our programs aid young people through every element of the employment process. YJC continues to foster a culture of responsibility, transparency, accountability, and empowerment, not entitlement, which is really important. It's also important, I think, that I mentioned that although that our goal is to help and provide services to every youth that come through our doors, we are very aware and clear about some of the needs that are beyond our control and things that will take a whole community's effort to address and to overcome. Through our 30 years of employment, I've been fortunate enough to work with a talented staff and a committed board who continue to work tirelessly on the staff side of providing the frontline work, and on the board side, continue to do relentless fundraising, which I'm sure they enjoy. So we appeared before the council last year in support of our youth employment programs. And we continue to address a growing need in Evanston with the huge gaps in opportunities and skill levels that our teens and young adults are facing. And so even though we still face an economy that's uncertain and one of the worst employment environments for youth and teens in the history of this country, even recent college graduates, YJC continues to pound the pavement to be the conduit to connect opportunities to the young people who desperately need them. This past year, we served approximately 1,585 youth. We placed 726 of them. We worked closely with the city of Evanston and its pilot Career Pathways program, which was specifically targeting youth 18 to 24 to 26 who had significant barriers to employment, such as criminal backgrounds, homelessness, and things of that such. We've seen a 15% increase in the demand in our services throughout the area, Evanston, Skokie, Niles. And our technology center continued to serve as a place where not only our target population received training, services, and access to technology, but the community at large was also used the center for workforce services. We have strengthened our reporting capabilities. We've worked very hard to make sure that we're measuring impact alongside results and activities. We have a robust data management system that allows us to track everything from wage progression to educational attainment to full-fledged self-sufficiency, meaning no longer a reliance on any public supports. So as we continue to work hard at pounding the pavement to create opportunities and to spread the word about our services and our work, we continue to rely heavily on support, community support. And we are very appreciative of the funding support that you continue to provide us as people continue to fall into poverty. So I once again ask you just to give our application full consideration because the Youth Job Center is very necessary, very relevant, and is meeting a need that is desperately and significantly increasing each year. Questions?
I just want to say something about the 30-year thing. The Youth Job Center was not always so well received. Back in the day, as they say, there was a lot of controversy about your organization. I think it was political, but it has become probably a model for doing the work that you do for anybody in this nation. I just am so impressed and just so proud that you're here. Having said that, what was your relationship with Trader Joe?
Well, we got a number of hires at Trader Joe's. So we referred tons of kids. The management staff there was very welcoming, and we got probably about 20 hires.
That I'm thrilled. I mean, I'm really thrilled about that, yeah. With part-time?
Part-time, some full-time,
That's
depending
all right.
on the
I mean,
age.
yeah,
But I
kids
think that, and I
can't work
think,
full-time.
yeah, and I think, I mean, people need to keep employment in perspective overall, right? I think that, I mean, we work with a population 14 to age 25. And so for a 14 or 15-year-old or 16-year-old, which is increasingly more difficult to get those types of part-time jobs because they're competing with college graduates who are underemployed or unemployed or dislocated workers, that first work experience can shape and change the trajectory of a young person's life, and it builds character. And so we appreciate the employer partners in the community who have been open and willing to hire our younger participants.
It's always good to have your people work where they live.
I agree.
Other lights, Jeannie Sankey.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to reiterate what the chair has said, and on a personal note, I've had some exposure with YJC going back a while when I used to host a public affairs program on ECTV. Just so you know this, a local business owner called me one time, completely independent of that, and said, I need to hire people, but I've got to find people who've got some skills. I'd really like to, keep that search within Evanston. Do you have any suggestions at all? And I said to her, you need to call the YJC. She called me back 3 weeks later and thanked me profusely for that recommendation. She's found so many qualified candidates through you. She will always go back to your organization, and she will recommend you further.
That's good to hear.
You are deeply valued in the community. I do want to ask a question about your application, if you don't mind. I noticed on the numbers that you project to serve in 2014 that's marginally lower than what was served in 2013. Yet I noticed that your fundraising is anticipated to go down a little bit in 2014. That's not a trend that we have seen in all of our applications, so I wanted to ask you if you could elaborate a little bit on how you expect that to roll out.
I think another thing that I'm fortunate to be part of is that I have a very fiscally responsible board of directors. And so although we have seen tremendous growth over the past several years financially, knock on wood, this year has been really evident in terms of just continuing funding reductions just across the board, from the corporate foundation level, definitely on the government side. And even though we were recently awarded at the 11th hour a summer youth employment grant from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, July 1, those funds continue to be extremely tight. In terms of the projected number of participants served, I think that number was being a little bit fiscally more conservative as well, because what we are doing as we're in the middle of our strategic planning process is we are focusing more on building more robust programs and substantive programs, so we're deepening some of the work that we do. And so when you talk about the skills gap, so focusing more of our efforts on the career pathway models where young people are getting credentials short-term tied into the internships that we provide in that industry, then being hired permanently by the company. That model has worked very well for us through the CVS partnership, Applied Thin Films, which is a manufacturer in town, where our kids are getting OSHA certifications, CDLs, so things that are really gonna, we call them stackable credentials too, because every kid may not go to a four-year university. However, the message should be that every kid should have post-high school, post-secondary training and educational. That's not optional to have a decent quality of life. So our focus is around that area more so that the outcomes are a little bit more substantive. But I'm sure we're going to exceed the number because the demand, we're getting a lot more referrals from just everywhere.
You might want to mention that this is not your whole budget, the one.
No.
Yeah,
No,
there's.
it's a fraction.
There's tons of other money over there.
I don't know about tons, but I don't know about tons.
We know about it, we know about it.
But I would also like to just say that we have been very fortunate, as I mentioned, to have the support of the city of Evanston just for some of the other programs, the Career Pathways program that's coming out of Youth Services Department. And also in November 19th, the Youth Job Center is partnering with Oakton Community College, Evanston Township High School, and the city of Evanston, and we're hosting a career expo. It's titled
great.
Career Connections, Launching Your Career via multiple pathways, and it's open to the community. And we will have a panel of 6 to 7 representatives from all of the industry sectors to just talk about their path and the multiple paths, from healthcare to IT to manufacturing, and how you can start planning for that.
And where
now.
will
It will be at Evanston Township
Good.
High School, and so we'll send out all the press releases and get the information.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all you do.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have a question? No. Next on our agenda is housing options for the mentally ill. This is work. I work. Welcome. Hi.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Matthew McFarland. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for Housing Options. To my right, this lovely young lady is Amy Tran. She is our Program Coordinator for iWork. Housing Options, how do you get a hold of us? We're at 1132 Florence Avenue in Evanston. We can be reached, I'll give you our web address, is www.housingopt.org. My email address is mmcfarland@housingopt.org. Anyway, we're here today. First of all, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come out here tonight. I too would like to thank Cecilia for the great work that she's doing, working with the kids. We're here to talk about a different population, somewhat of a marginalized population, and that is those who suffer from mental illness in Evanston. iWork is actually an acronym, and it stands for, if I get this wrong, please, there's so many acronyms in social services, but it's Individuals Welcoming Opportunities for Responsibility and Knowledge. We are going into our 4th year of services and have been really successful, I believe, in helping people find and keep competitive employment. For those of you that don't know, iWork is an evidence-based supported employment program that was written in collaboration with the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration and Dartmouth College. It's a program designed to help individuals with mental illness find and keep gainful employment. This model has shown to produce outcomes that nearly triple those of traditional approaches when followed accurately. And the numbers from the research studies are 58% versus 21% when those with mental illnesses used a more traditional vocational approach. How are we different? We're different in a lot of ways, but one of the ways we're different is that we operate, we don't have a pool of jobs set aside for people in the community that are mentally ill. We don't pool jobs. We don't pool candidates. We go out and we find work for people depending on what their skill set is and what kind of work they want. We have found that certainly retention rates increase dramatically when you break it down into its simplest form, and that is helping people find and keep jobs that they want. Things that they may have experience in, and simply the type of work that they're looking for. Another interesting point that we've seen an increase in is co-occurring disorders. A lot of our individuals lately that have come through the doors have suffered from not just mental illness, but also substance abuse issues. A lot of them are returning from incarceration, so let's face it, people are coming back to our communities, from prison and need assistance as well. We have found that, certainly not just kind of ironic, but very quickly, my former employer, I put hundreds of people to work. In fact, 500 and something people. If you ask me today how many of those people are still working, I couldn't tell you, but something tells me that the numbers wouldn't be even close to what the numbers are that we're working with today. And the reason why is because we pride ourselves in the follow-along supports that we provide our employees, or the people that we find work for. We offer job coaching. We go out into the community. We knock on doors. We meet people that business owners, hiring managers, and we talk to them. We approach them. We use a strengths-based approach. Certainly helps us to kind of get over the stigma of mental illness, what it is and what it isn't. And we also offer employment services groups that are held twice a month in one of our facilities. And that also makes us a little different. It's not a traditional like job fair type of thing, but more or less we go out and we invite them to come out and do presentations to our participants. And our participants, and it kind of it kind of puts a face on employment for our participants, and it puts a face on mental illness for our employer. Again, lowering the stigma of mental illness in the community. One of the things I can tell you is that we've done a lot of things over the past year, and I know that you guys, thank you so much for your generous donation last year, and it's helped us do a lot of things. One of the things I'm happy to announce is that we've consistently over the past year held a competitive employment rate of over 50%, which in the eyes of Dartmouth College is phenomenal, unprecedented in an agency of our size, in fact. So we're happy to announce that we've been consistent with those numbers. We also have, we were the sole agency from Illinois to be nominated for the 2013 National Transformation Award by Johnson & Johnson and Dartmouth College. There are currently, how many agencies in the state of Illinois? 39 agencies that are currently offering supported employment services, and we were the sole agency to be nominated by the state. So we're very proud of that. We did not win the award, however. Again, it was a national award, so we were going against all the other states, but we're very happy to say that Illinois found that we were good enough to be nominated for that. Like I said, we're different in a number of ways. We not only offer supports to the people that are looking for employment, of course, and to the employers, but we also offer supports to the family and friends of our participants as well. And we do this by holding family support groups. We do that quarterly. We hold one quarterly. And we ask that our participants invite whoever they see is in their support circle, whether it be a parent, a loved one, a family member, who knows, it may be a sponsor, whoever it may be, to come out and learn not just about supported employment, but how they can better support their loved one in continuing to work. I was sharing with my coordinator here. I was going to tell a story, and she jumped up and down. She said, "Well, if you're going to tell a story, please let me tell one about my participants." So I'm going to go ahead and let Amy tell this very quick. It's about job transitions.
Good evening. Thank you. Yes, I really wanted to share
Tell
this.
us your name.
I'm sorry?
Your name.
Oh, Amy Tran. Sorry. But good evening, and thanks again for this opportunity. Wanted to tell just a brief story about one of the clients on my caseload. I'll call him Barry. And he was a young gentleman that came to us working very much part-time in an administrative assistant position with a local organization, about 1 day a week. So it wasn't really substantial employment, but it was something that he was able to do. His educational background was in early childhood education. He'd started receiving some credentialing, and it was an area that he was really interested in. He had received supports and services from another vocational program in the past to help him obtain his education, and they'd helped him with an internship. But beyond that, he hadn't been able to find gainful employment in the field. So he came to us for services and supports, and we talked a little bit about what he wanted to do, how he wanted to use his experience in his internship and his education. And we started the process by exploring some different opportunities within child care centers, just anything that was related to early childhood. He interviewed for a few things, was offered something. It wasn't quite exactly what he wanted, and he just wanted to keep looking to find something that was really fit his passion for the field. Come today, it's been about 1.5 years. He has been employed with the local school district in one of the programs, and he is doing wonderfully. He loves it, and it's hard to convey. I wish he could tell it himself, but to hear him talk about his experiences, how he's grown and developed, and how he wants to continue following this career, his career path, and furthering it, he has received really wonderful performance evaluations after his first year. Again, it's been 1.5 years, so he's going into his second school year. And he's also looking to actually add on an additional position within the school district, hopefully within the next year. So very, very happy in his work, very happy with the supports. He continues to check in, even though it's been over 1.5 years, just to kind of, for just general sports, even though he's doing really well, just trying to check in with how he's doing, that he's interviewing for this other position. So just a really, really happy, very successful story to share with you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Amy. Very quickly, I wanted to address a couple of the other questions that we wanted to certainly go over. Is that currently we are we're doing more with less, and I think that social service agencies, it's kind of the rule now. Certainly is there's less resources out there, and you got to figure out how to do what you can with what you got. But currently, we're working with three other nonprofit, two located in Evanston. Actually, we continue to be the sole provider of supported employment services to Pure Services, which is located in Evanston, of course, and Center for Independent Futures. So they refer all of their clients that meet the general guidelines for us to admit somebody, which is simply that they suffer from a severe and persistent mental illness and that they are working with a clinician. So we're the sole provider of employment services for them, as well as Turning Point in Skokie. All of their Evanston residents. We're the sole provider of employment services for them too. Ways in which we collaborate. We collaborate with other supported employment providers to ensure services are not duplicated. And the closest ones within our region, anyway, would be Trilogy, C4, Thresholds, and New Foundation Center. We actually came up with a collaboration. One of the ways we thought, typically job development, anybody that's familiar with it knows that they have a tendency of kind of keeping their cards kind of close to their chest and that they don't want to share resources, employers, so on and so forth. We have found that we get much more out of doing just the opposite. And so what we've done is we've started we call it the, help me with this, is the NWDA, you ready? And that's the Northside Workforce Development Alliance. Anyway, it's a collaboration of us, Trilogy, C4, Thresholds, and New Foundation Center, and we meet monthly, and we do it for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons we do it is to make sure that we're not sharing clients and that we're not knocking on the same doors. I mean, we're all in the same business, and we want to. We found that a lot of other agencies may have already knocked on the door of an employer. Or we may have knocked on the door of that employer and already have a good relationship with that employer. So we've found that by sharing those resources with each other that much more people get hired, and certainly we're able to follow the fidelity, to the model much stronger. So just to give you guys an idea of some of the people that we're currently working with, because it's probably going to be a question. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, Misericordia, School District 65, Office Depot, Food for Less, Marshalls, Turning Point. Give me some more.
Target, Walmart.
Talking to me. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Target, I'm sorry, Walmart, Turning Point, actually, in Skokie, and there's a few
Well,
of the
we'll bring
bigger
the
ones,
list.
yeah.
We'll bring the list later. Anyway, so also want to let you guys know that qualitative outcomes are measured by participant surveys and annual fidelity reviews by the state. We just had our second fidelity review, actually, and we're proud to say that we've scored our second time good fidelity. So we've done some great things. I myself was, after some testing, a battery of testing, am also proud to say that I am now a member of the Illinois Fidelity Review team. So I am now a member of them who go out to other agencies and have the ability to look at their programs and see that they are following the model accurately. I've probably missed just a ton, but I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'll go ahead and turn it over for questions if I may. Thank you. Sorry.
Good evening. I wanted to ask a question about the application that you submitted. You indicate that 95% of the individuals receiving services from Housing Options for the Mentally Ill are Evanston residents. And yet when you give your breakout of populations to be served, you say there'll be 55 total to be served in 2014, but only 25 of those are from Evanston. I was wondering if you could highlight that discrepancy a little bit.
Amy, can you help me with that? Where are we at? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, the discrepancy being, could you repeat that?
Yes,
I'm
in the
sorry.
narrative, in the initial narrative of your application, you indicate that 95% of those you serve are Evanston residents. When you break down your projected numbers of individuals to be served
Yes.
in 2014, you project a total of 55 total to be served by iWork. Of those, 25 are from Evanston. That's significantly less than 95%, so I was hoping you would clarify the discrepancy there.
That's I'm going to ask the committee if I can get back to you on that, because my executive director isn't.
Can.
Okay, thank you, is not here, and I
May.
want to.
You may.
All right.
Alderman Burr, are you finished? Yes, Alderman Burrs.
It's actually not a question, but it's a thank you for all you do. And I know we've met previously, and you were very helpful with a situation, and I really appreciate it, and continue to do the amazing work in the community.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure. I got to say that we're fortunate in that a lot of clinicians get to work with people for a number of years that have mental illness, and I mean, sometimes how you measure success in that area is tough. It's tough when you're dealing with somebody with mental illness, and you look at things like less hospital stays and things of that nature. When you get a job for somebody or help somebody get a job, the change is immediate. The change is immediate, and you can immediately. I mean, let's face it. This isn't even about mental illness. All of us know what it's like to be unemployed, and all of us know what it's like to be at home and looking for work. And certainly, I know that when I'm not working, I have a tendency to not want to go outside, to be much more depressed. So, it's more than money. It's a reason to get up in the morning. It's a reason to get our clothes on, and it's a reason to live. And like I said, it's not just something that I think that's a right that we should all have. And we're just here to kind of level the playing field, so to speak, and give people the opportunity that deserve it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, and you'll answer the question.
Yes, I will.
We'll make sure that Sarah transmits it.
I'll make sure that I get back to you
Okay.
right away on that.
All right,
Okay.
thank you very
Is that all?
much.
Thanks.
Our
Second time.
next group is Interfaith Action of Evanston Employment Counseling. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Sue Murphy from Interfaith Action of Evanston, and our phone number is 847-869-0370. Email is ia@interfaithactionofevanston.org. Our address is Post Office Box 1414 because we have sites all over the place, but our hospitality center is at St. Mark's Church, 1509 Ridge. We're mostly 95% a volunteer organization, so we have a lot of people who help us. We do a lot of different things. We run the hospitality center for the homeless, which is open Monday through Friday for people who are homeless. They can have breakfast and they can work with our job counselor, and we have a computer trainer every day. We also have warming centers during the winter in the afternoon. We open up a church chapel when it gets really cold outside for people to sleep. A new thing that we do is the Produce Mobile, which some of you may have seen the sign at Robert Crown. We're in partnership with the city and with the Chicago Food Depository, and we started in November. We together with volunteers doing all this bagging up of food, serve 400 families every month, get bags of fresh produce for free. There's no, you don't sign in, you don't have to prove anything, you just come and you get the food. The CDBG money helps us with our employment counseling program, and we've been doing that with your help for 17 years, I believe. I've been there 16, and I know it started before I was there. And it's evolved over the years. We have an employment counselor every day. We help people with their resumes. We give them bus passes, which is now becoming a challenge with this new system that they're having, but we'll be able to continue to give them passes to all job interviews. We partner with Connections because their employment program is sort of the bigger program. They look for the jobs and the training. We do the smaller part of the program, I guess, of helping with the day-to-day, the resumes, getting people to and from interviews, buying them the clothes they might need for those jobs, and giving them a voicemail. A lot of people have government phones. Those phones don't have a ton of minutes on them. So if you use that on your resume, you might not be able to get calls at the end of the month. So they can get a voicemail that just sounds like one from your home, from us. And connections on their side, once they work, of course, with the people too, but once they're hired, they will give them a weekly pass till they get their first check. So we kind of balance out how we do the transportation. It's really hard right now for people to get jobs. Many of our people do have felonies, and that makes it tough. But we've been working really hard with them. Many of them have been hired at local restaurants. We just had a guy hired at the North Shore nursing home. No, it's not a nursing home. What do you call it? Yes. Washing dishes. And he was so worried because he goes, I don't like people. And so he was afraid they were going to have him bus tables, but they're not. He's just washing dishes, and he's been there for a month. He's had 2 paychecks, and he's really happy. So, and he doesn't have to talk to anybody. So it's worked out really well. We've had other people hired at nursing homes. One person is driving a school bus, just started last week. Trader Joe's they've hired a couple people, and then both of the hospitals have hired people. So they're working, and we're working on it. We keep working on it, and we do appreciate your help. So thank you.
Any questions for this proposal? It's very nicely done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No questions. Next is Infant Welfare Society of Evanston, the Baby Toddler Nursery, refurbishment. Whoops.
Good evening. I'm Cass Wolf, Executive Director of the Infant Welfare Society of Evanston. We are located at 2200 Main Street, and our phone number is 847-491-9650. Our website is www.iwse.org. And Jennifer Riskind, our Development and Communications Director, is the person to contact. So would be her email, jenniferriskind@iwse.org. And you can find it on the website, too, if you miss that. So thank you for this opportunity. It's been a number of years that since the Infant Welfare Society of Evanston has applied for a CDBG grant. So I'm glad to be back here. I am applying for this grant for Baby Toddler Nursery. And sometimes it's confusing, but we actually have 3 locations and 3 programs. So Baby Toddler Nursery is the one on Main Street. We also run Teen Baby Nursery, that's our program, and we rent space in Family Focus building on Foster and Dewey there. And then we also operate a home visiting family support program. And we rent additional space on Lake Street. And we have to have all of that other space because if you've been in our building on Main Street, it's really small, and we have people who work in closets. So we maximize our space. And I'm not joking, right, Don? You've been there. Sarah, too. So we are looking for funds to support the ongoing deferred maintenance of a program. Early childhood programs, like most every other social service agency, are faced with tough budgets that keep getting tougher. This year, sequestration hit our programs with a $33,000 whack with reduction in slots for one of our programs. So, and on, things like that keep going. And then other funders keep level funding, but of course level funding is sort of a reduction too because other costs don't stay level. So the program that the refurbishment we're looking for are really related to health and safety in our program and in our center. At Baby Toddler, we serve 70 children under the age of 5. And specifically, 56 of them are under age 3. So health and safety are a huge part of the way we look at the world and the needs that we have. Clearly, you always have to be safe with children around, but when you bring it down to the level of kids who are starting at 6 weeks of age, it requires extra vigilance. So, for example, on the playground in one area, we have wood chips, and that's really not a very good idea for toddlers who are oral and like to taste it all. So we'd like to replace that with what they call safety grass or something like that. It's turf, but it's designed for kids, so it's, more safe. And things along those lines that promote the well-being of the children and the families in our program. I do also want to tell you that we are 100 years old. Very exciting part of our history right now, which we're celebrating. We were founded in 1913 by a group of women who, even at that time, had the mission of serving low-income infants and toddlers in need by first supplying pure milk, which was pasteurized milk, and then by opening clinics, which we did in partnership with the city, and during hard times for the city actually raised all the money to run the health clinics for infants and toddlers. So it's a long history of support and collaboration with the city, and we look forward to continuing it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Anybody? Yes, Jeannie.
Good
And
evening.
Alderman
When I was looking over your application, I noticed you had attached 3 bids for 3 different parts of the project. Did you collect any other competitive bids to compare to what was on those?
Not at the time. Our understanding for the proposal was to do one.
Okay.
But for any work that would be over $1,000, we're required by our own fiscal policies to get 3 bids, so we would do that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alderman Holmes?
Thank you. Do you carry a line item in your budget for maintenance?
We do. It's sadly only $6,000,
I saw that.
which doesn't go very far. Replaced the washing machine a few months ago because that just decided it was done. And we have to repair a hole in our roof this fall before the winter starts and snow starts melting, and repave our driveway and parking spaces, and have other plans for it. So having a building that was opened in 1978 means that there's a lot of things that wear out.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I asked the
Yeah.
question, because some of those things have to be ongoing.
That's right,
in
that's
terms
right.
of-
So in the last
Not be
year,
deferred.
in addition to the washing machine, we painted all of the classrooms over last Christmas break, or maybe that was 2 years ago, and did the floors this last Christmas, and, have to keep doing things, but would love the opportunity to share some of that costs with someone else.
Those items are more capital items, the roof and
Yeah.
floors and things like that. I mean, some of
It's not
these-
the whole roof, excuse me, it's a repair for a leak.
Even so, a roof. But you have an item here, exterior tuck pointing, $135.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why that frankly ended
Is
up
it
on there, sorry.
One little brick that,
Yeah, I think so. There's, in the back of the building, there are a few places that need some tuck pointing. So, yeah, that I think has been on the list of things that need doing, so clearly we could do that without this money.
you do have some kind of reserve fund for the big things. for
Yes.
the big
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. You do
Thank
great
you.
work.
Thank you very much.
Don't know how we could do it without you. Thank you. Okay, next is Girl Scouts of Greater Chicago, my favorite program. I love the Girl Scouts.
Hello.
Hi.
I'll wait for Joanne. Okay, hi. I'm Lavinia Owens, and this is Joanne Avery, and I'm the grant strategist, and I also work with our CDBG, Cook County, as well as Evanston. And then Joanne Avery is our program facilitator here in Evanston. for Girl Scouts, so you all know Joanne. So, I'd like to get started, kind of giving a little information here. We're located, our corporate office is located downtown Chicago on Clark Street. However, our program site is here at Family Focus, and the address is 2010 Dewey Avenue in Evanston. And then our phone number is 312-416-2500, and the website is www.girlscoutsgcnwi.org. Okay? So many of you are familiar with Girl Scouts, and so a little history here. We, Girl Scouts, since the merger, we started in 2008, a merger and 7-council merger, which made us the largest council in the country. And we have over 100 years of experience. And from that merger, to move beyond the traditional cookie sales, we started community engagement programming for low-income girls. And so from there, we started community programs known as community engagement programs. Under community engagement program, we have Healthy Living Initiative, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and then also financial literacy and entrepreneurship. Those are the programs that we seek funding for from different foundations and city and government and so forth. So for the programs that we provide in Evanston, we provide healthy living services to the girls. Okay. So right now in Evanston, we serve 5 to 17. The majority of our girls are served in the 5th Ward. They're low to moderate income. And within the last year to date, we actually served over 130 girls, although our fiscal year goal was 75 girls, so we actually exceeded that. And so going forth in FY14, we are still conservative in our numbers, and we're actually proposing to serve 80 girls. And that is due to, we had some structural changes at Girl Scouts, and with that, we had to kind of cut out certain service areas, but Evanston was one of the areas that we preserved because we know that programming is important and that the girls do benefit here. So if we can still provide those services, and so that is something that stayed on the list to provide those services. And so we're still looking to exceed those numbers as well, but again, we'll remain conservative given the economic and situation with the company overall. And just to back up a little bit for a second, we have 3 key things about our community engagement pathway, healthy living initiative. And what we seek, we want girls to be able to discover themselves, connect with others, and take actions to create positive change in their communities. This is the underbelly or the foundation of all the community engagement programs. And so for the Healthy Living program, it seeks to develop the girls' knowledge and skills necessary to lead healthier lives through increased exercise, improved nutritional choices, and improved body image, which is really important given the day of reality TV, which now girls are kind of thinking that's real, and it's not. So the program is very useful and helpful. With that, we have program activities, and it's age-appropriate curriculum. As I stated, we have 5 to 17, the girls, but the curriculum is tailored for each age group, or rather grade group. Joanna will go over those activities in a minute, but one of the things I want to point out is that in addition to our program activities, we have established outcomes and indicators. And we put that there to measure our impact of program services. We have pre and post assessments that we provide to the girls. And then we also have where the staff collects data, and then we also have on-staff evaluation team that analyzes the data, and then that way we can make decisions as to whether or not we need to, if we're having an impact and if we need to make some adjustments, or if this needs to just be, we have to go back to the drawing board for it. And so those are really good. One of the things that we did specifically for Evanston, we did have our evaluation team. Currently for the program that Joanne implemented, our fiscal year starts October 1st to September 30th. However, she came in and assessed the girls so far to see how good they were doing. And so far we had 97% of the girls completed at least 20 minutes of physical activity during their session. 87% of the girls identified 3 physical activities that was healthy for their bodies, and 90% of the girls were able to set fitness goals. And then also 94% of the girls obtained the outcome of promoting cooperation and team building, and these are all outcomes and indicators that we strive for with the girls through our Healthy Living initiative. So it's very impactful, as we can see right now with the girls that we serve. But I'm going to hand it over to Joanne because she could talk more. She can be more personalized with the services that we provide to the girls in Evanston.
First, I want to read something that I wrote at the beginning of the year about a young lady that I work with. I'm going to call her Alana. She's a young lady who just got from her mom. Her mom took her to the doctor, and she was just she said diagnosed, but the doctor said, I'm morbid obese. This is a 7th grader, 12 years old. She weighed over 250 pounds. She came to group while I was facilitating group one day at one of the schools with the social worker's permission. She commented that she stayed in the hall and heard everything I discussed with the girls regarding health and fitness, moving for 15 to 20 minutes while we discussed food pyramid, reading labels that day, the first day I met her. She had a lot to say about fruits and vegetables, but she never eats fruits and vegetables, only at school. Alana amazes me because she's determined to get healthy, and right now she's a sponge trying to soak up everything. She says kids make fun of her and tease her about her weight, clothes, and the odor. She said kids can be very cruel, and they can. Since coming to the group, she has lost 7 pounds. 7 pounds. She said that's like 70 to her. I mean, it's a small step for her, but she lost 7 pounds. She walks everywhere. She's even participating in gym class at school now, and she wasn't. She would sit in the hallway and not do anything. It's a start. Alana says she wants to look and feel pretty for her 8th grade graduation, which is this year. I immediately told her that she is already beautiful, because we stress body image, self-esteem. I tell the girls all the time, you're all beautiful. You don't need to change anything. They come in at 7th grade, 6th grade, saying their hips are too big at 11 and 12 years old. She says, I said to her, I didn't want her to just be in the group because, wait a minute. I didn't want her to think that just because she was overweight, she wasn't beautiful. So that's why I stressed that. A big smile came across her face. I purchased Alana an exercise walking tape, which she can drop into a DVD player, which I loaned her because she didn't have that, and I didn't want this to be a hindrance for her. She has reported to me that she uses a DVD every morning and every night for 15 minutes, all summer. This tape also, along with, has made a great impact on her life. She comes to group faithfully. She waits by the door for me to discuss her weekend, how her weekend went. She still hasn't made friends, but she's stepping in the right direction. She's trying to do that. And her important thing is looking beautiful for graduation, having friends, and being small. She doesn't want to be a toothpick. She just wants to lose weight and to be ready for high school. So that's my story about her. She's making healthy choices right now. You know, we have to really work with the parents too, because her mom is a big contributor of what she eats. Her mom is overweight too, so she doesn't do the right thing, but Alana's stepping in and trying to discuss that, a 12-year-old trying to discuss that with her mom. So that was one of my stories. But I work with the girls about eating right. We went to Dominic's one time and went into the fruits and vegetables section of the store to learn about the different fruits and vegetables. We walked to Dominic's, and that was a good field trip because, you know, they didn't realize what an avocado was or some other kind of fruit. It's purple. I can't call it right now.
Eggplant.
Yes. They didn't know what that was. So the lady gave us a tour of the fruits and vegetables section, and we talked about labels, sodium, and intake, and how can it affect you not drinking enough water. And one of the programs that we did was the where we learned how to jump rope or I'm so sorry, I'm getting nervous. They had to come up with games that can help them move their bodies. It was walking around in a circle. It was doing jumping jacks. It was hopscotch. I had a fitness person come in to volunteer to do drills with them so that they can learn how to do that. A lot of kids have lost inches because we took inches. We took their, this group wasn't about losing weight. It was about making healthy choices. But they wanted to see how much they've improved, especially the high school students. Because you know when you're in high school, the outer is so important when you're there. But I enjoy working with the girls and giving them these services. I appreciate the opportunity that you have given us too. I'm sorry?
How long have you been doing this?
Over 10 years. Yeah. Yes, long time. Let me say one more thing. Some of the girls that have been in the program have come back and volunteered. I've also had a chef come in and did a food presentation with them that worked on smoothies and turkey burgers and showed them what tofu was. I worked with them, brought Campus Kitchen in to do a presentation with them because they're hands-on and they have to see it. It's not me telling them. You know, they have to see it.
You know about Now We're Cooking?
Pardon?
Do you know about a company called Now We're Cooking? The city is a big funder of Now We're Cooking. And
yes.
I am going to make sure you get all the information about who to call, and that would be a fabulous place for you to
Yes.
take your kids, because it's right up around
Oh,
Fleetwood.
yeah, and they teach them how to make the meals, right? It's on.
Well, that's part of it, but
Ashland?
they can do all sorts of things, yeah.
Okay, that would be
Yeah,
great.
you'll work something out with them.
All right.
Jeannie?
Good evening. Full disclosure, I was a Girl Scout for 10 years. I actually started my sister's brownie troop. So yeah, I am in your corner. I admit that. This is not something that is covered in your proposal this year, but I'm personally curious about it. Have you considered, outside of, the year to year, about following these girls in a longer term to see on a longer term what differences are happening in their lives? I ask this more out of curiosity and to pick your brains on this, because these initiatives, so often we look at what we can measure for a grant period, but I'm interested in how you're looking at their greater good longer term.
I'll take this one. Definitely we're able to measure when girls come back to mentor or volunteer. But the thing, what we're doing as a organization is that currently we have a Personify, we have a system where we can gather data to see how many girls we serve, geographically throughout the different counties. But the greater question on the table is how can we track them thereafter? Because we have this focus on this age group of girls, but then when they go off to high school or go off to college, how can we track that? So we're actually working on that. And in the changes that we're doing within the organization, that's actually one of the things that we're actually addressing, is to add information in our system where we can actually track the girls, and then also garnering more information from the schools, which means that we have to work more closer with them. And so we would know the graduation date, what colleges they're going off to, have incentives for them to return, or it's basically called continuity of care, so to speak. So we're actually addressing that as you speak, so. Okay.
Well, I can't speak for the Girl Scouts, but one of the things that the Girl Scouts is lucky is to have Family Focus and Joanne, because Joanne has that ongoing relationship with the girls, and they've had it for years. And in full disclosure, from my working with Family Focus over the years, and when Girl Scouts first came to Evanston, and so we've always been able to follow the girls and know who they are and what kind of progress and stuff that they're making. So you have a heads up already, and or I should say a legs up already, in terms of doing that with some of the girls in Evanston especially.
Anybody else? Did I miss you before, Alderman Hudson? Oh. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the program, it's a great one.
Thank you.
Great one. Well, I had one other question. Did you not diminish the Evanston program because the city makes a contribution to it? And do other communities make contribution to similar programs?
Okay, if I understand you, did we keep the program because?
You said this was one of the programs,
Oh,
City
we-
of Evanston was not cut.
It's not, meaning, we kept it because it's an impactful program. Joanne is the facilitator, so we definitely know it's in good hands that way as well. We also seek other funding. There have been times that we haven't gotten funding, but we also use our organizational general operating funds to make up for any deficit or any type of cost that we have. So we definitely keep the program here because we have the partnership, we have the, we know that the services are impactful. So even before the merger, Girl Scouts was here. After the merger, Girl Scouts was here. And even after our restructuring, we still kept this area.
All right. Do other communities who have a similar program through the Girl Scouts, do they contribute to the funding?
Not all the time, no. Typically, we have, that was actually one of the problems on the table. What's more cost effective? Can we keep this program going?
So if I ask the question in a different way,
Yeah.
is that the reason why you cut other programs, because they weren't the local communities weren't making a contribution? I think I get it. You don't have to answer it. I get it.
Are you
All right.
sure?
Thank you very
I
much.
don't know if I get it.
Thank you. We'll move on here. We'll move on. I get it. All right.
Funding helps.
It does. Thank you all.
Never, always say the funding helps. Always say that. We have a break time right now, so take a little break, and the next Evanston Scholars is at 8:30. By the way, the bathrooms on this floor are closed. Yes. And that's whether the third, it's a long story. Take a couple weeks off, everything changes. Maybe you've taken a couple of weeks to develop, they could have. Okay, we're back from our break. Next presenter is Evanston Scholars College Readiness Program. Welcome. Hi.
Hello, I'm Steve Newman, founder of Evanston Scholars, and this is Kay Israelite, Development Director and also mentor for Evanston Scholars. We are www.evanstonscholars.org, and we're located at 1234 Sherman, Suite 213. We're a fairly new program. This is our third year, so I'm going to tell you a little bit. I know you guys have in front of you some information about our program, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more. Our mission is we are a college readiness and support program to help ambitious first-generation low-income graduate from college. So we start with the 11th grade, and we continue through graduation. We offer mentors, college visits, ACT prep, and one-on-one college counseling. We have 49 students in our program right now. We have currently 10 students who are college sophomores. We have 14 students who just started at college as freshmen, and we have 25 high school seniors. All of them are from ETHS. In a couple months, we're going to take 25 new students from all of our new applicants by November. So soon we'll have 74 kids in our program. Who do we serve? We have 96% of our students are minority, 80% are free and reduced lunch at ETHS, and 76% will be the first in their families to complete college. So why did we start this program? Studies say currently that if a student graduates college and does not drop out, they will earn $1.2 million more than somebody who doesn't finish college. And there's also some other benefits like health benefits, living longer, et cetera, that people have studied these days. At ETHS, there's a fantastic graduation rate of high school, approximately 90 to 95%. However, there's some statistics that go along with that. There's about nationally a 20% summer melt, which means that students who are into college and say they're going to a college, nationally about 20% don't actually step on to college in their freshman year. Also, our national college dropout rate is 50%, and it's even higher for the population that we serve. 75% of those students who drop out of college drop out within the first 2 years. So obviously what we try to do is try to ease that transition from high school to college. There's some agencies and some assets, obviously, at ETHS that are working to help our students. There's obviously the counselors and the college career staff also at ETHS. However, College and Career Center only takes kids that actually come to them, and the counselors have over 250 students on their rolls. So with that, obviously individualized college counseling is hard to come by for a lot of our students. And especially if you are first in your family to go to or finish college, there's not a lot of resources to help you in this tricky process. There's also programs like AVID at high school and YLU, YLU that do similar things, fantastic organizations. However, they don't necessarily stay with the kids while they go to college and through college. So studies suggest that one of the reasons that kids drop out of college is that they don't find a good fit school. So what we do on the front end is trying to find a good fit school for our students. We provide mentors. Each student gets a one-on-one mentor or individual mentor from the community. We provide workshops. So for example, we have a finding a good fit school. We have a financial aid workshop. We have an application and essay boot camp. And we have a transition into college workshop before they go off to college. We also provide college counseling. So we have a small staff. We have a program director. We have a program coordinator who helps both with the high school students and while the students, when the students get to college. And we have a development director, plus a couple other volunteers. We also have college visits. So we try to take our students on college visits. One of the great ways to figure out where to go to school is college visits. Today, for example, our students went to Augustana, which is a great small private school in Illinois that actually does a very good job of giving away a ton of money to students like ours. So we want them to see schools like that. We take them to bigger schools like Iowa, other schools like Illinois Wesleyan. These are all great alternatives for the students that we're looking at so that they aren't so financially burdened when they get to college. We also give them access to fairs. We give them an on-site program, which means that at the end of October, our students are first in line at 70 different schools. We join forces with Chicago Scholars. Our students apply to 5 schools. So in fact, next week, our students will have already applied to 5 schools, which is ahead of 99% of all people across the country. They're in line faster. They know about good fit schools. They know about targets and reaches. And again, hopefully they're not just getting into a college, but they're getting a good fit college, and hopefully they're getting a lot of money for college persistence. And we also have ACT Prep. So just this year in our 3rd year with our 3rd class, we joined forces with Revolution Prep. And Revolution Prep is an outside agency. And they have, for our 25 students this year, increased their ACT from the very first practice test. Oh, thank gosh, that's not me. From the very first practice test to their last test, they increased by 3 points. So what does that really mean? Well, for the range that our students have, 3-point difference, 20 to 23, for example, 24 to 27, that can mean the difference between a half ride and a full ride at a lot of schools. So considering schools could be 40, 50,000, over 4 years, you're talking about saving kids and their families $80,000 to $100,000. So that's kind of the aim of what we try to do. Our impact thus far and kind of our outcomes, what we look at. College persistence, obviously, and all of our students, even though we're young, all of them are still at school. We had a few kids who actually transferred from freshman to sophomore year. And there's actually things the numbers of 100% sound great, but to be honest with you, I'm almost just as proud as the kids that we helped transfer. One student, for example, didn't know, that she's at Indiana University, that all of a sudden there was a $15,000 shortfall from their family. She didn't know this till a week before she was about to go back for her sophomore year. She mentioned something to her mentor mentioned something to us. Within a week, we're at a table, we're looking at different schools that have her major, that are more financially feasible. She went back to Indiana, she has a financial plan for first semester, and she knows what schools that she's going to try to transfer for the last 2 years, which is a much better situation for her. Our ACT scores is also something, and again, we just started this, but a 3-point increase in 1 year is fantastic, so we're hoping that's going to pay off for our current seniors. More applications. On average, the national average is between 2 and 3 applications for a student in high school nationally. Our students so far have applied to 9 schools on average, so we're trying to get them, again, to have more options to find a good fit school. In financial health, so we used to have scholarships. We're actually getting rid of scholarships. And the reason is because we are trying to allocate our money more towards emergency funds, and we're really providing services to help our kids so they're not so financially strapped. 80% of our recent kids, 11 out of 14 that just went off to college, went off to college on a full ride scholarship. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. We're here to ask specifically for Revolution, our ACT prep, again, to work with Revolution Prep so we can increase what we do and all the services that we provide, because again, we find that that's going to be kind of a trail for our students to down the road have better options and more money that they can get from their schools so they can stay and persist in college.
Well, thank you.
And we really could use the money. We're supposed to say that, right?
Well, and you're asking a very small amount compared to your total budget, so very, very impressive funding, really. The individual donations, can you tell us anything about that? I mean, just you solicit funds from individuals? I mean,
Yes. I have a lot of people who owe me money when I was growing up.
They send you,
Yes,
they just send you
no.
checks.
Currently, we have over 200 individual donors, and this year, again, we're new, we're in our 3rd year, but we've also had almost an 80% increase from year 1 to year 2. Individually, it was solicitations. Now more and more people are finding out about our program.
How does the, we had an organization that we funded that provided trips to colleges, you know, to tour colleges. How does your college tour work?
How does it work?
Yeah, when you went to Augustana, what did that look like?
What does it look like? They got up at 5:15 today.
But how many buses?
No, I'm being serious. They got up at 5:15. They got a bus that was actually donated to us. Hecky Powell is one of our supporters. He's talked to also Best Taxi, and Best Taxi actually hooked us up with a bus, which is great. So that's an in-kind donation so that we don't have to pay for that, which is great. They go there. The program is all set up. We have sometimes our students can go and sit in on mock classes, talk to professors, do the whole tour, and really get the college feel. Is that what you mean? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, that's what I meant. How many went?
25 today.
25.
Yeah, actually 24.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fabulous. All right.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and a few mentors and parents went as well today.
Alderman Holmes.
I was going to say, but what happens if you go out of state? Because that's what the other program does.
What happens when we go out of state in terms of
In terms of how do you finance that?
Yeah, so right now, because we're thinking about, we try to go where there's a 1 day. So that's why I was mentioning the 5:15 in all seriousness is that, so these are 3-4 hours or less. And these are great schools. We went to Iowa. In fact, none of our students have matriculated to Iowa. But the reason that we go to Iowa, or went last year, we're thinking about changing it up for this year, is because it's a big school. So again, we want them to get different sizes, different styles of schools. Ideally, it would be great, of course, to go to some different schools, and especially where some of our current scholars are. We have some scholars at Amherst College, Colorado College, and these are all great, again, colleges that maybe not some of our kids know about, but in terms of the financial aid and the reputation and the education they provide, they're fantastic schools for our scholars.
Alderman Hanson.
I know the focus is on these kids going to college, but how much do you work with their parents or try and work with their parents or their families to be, they also need that support through the 4 years as well. So how much do you stay connected with their families?
Well, we have a parent orientation at the beginning. We have a couple workshops to kind of keep them going. We also have what's new is a parent stress support group since the 5 applications are due next week. So Joanna Avery, who you know before, she comes to that because one of her daughters is actually in our program. And she's also helped us kind of start and resurrect our parent advisory council. So we want this to be a partnership as well. So even though they get counseling and they get mentorship, we realize that we're not replacing the decisions that are made at home. We're just trying to guide and support.
And have you seen, with your college freshmen, have you seen the parents continue to stay engaged to that freshman year, or did they just start freshman year?
Yeah, so we have 10 who had just started their sophomore year at college.
Okay.
And 14 who just started.
Okay, so the ones who have already done freshman year in college, did their parents stay engaged with your program, not just with the kids and not wanting to be part of your program, or?
Yeah, and I think we're, in our first group, because it was our first year, we have a couple, and now we have some who are, the 14 who are going to be freshmen. They're still engaged, and they want to stay engaged as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really important. That's really important. All right, no other questions? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay. Next is Moran Center for Youth Advocacy, Legal and Social Services. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Kathy Lyons, and I'm the Executive Director of the Moran Center. And I have with me Roger Pascal, who's a longtime board member for the Moran Center and the Evanston Community Defender Office before that. We are located at 1123 Emerson. We're at the corner of Ridge and Emerson. We're right above the subway. I think you asked for a telephone number, which is 847-492-1410, and we are on the web at moran-center.org. Our work, which I think most of you know about, but I will describe it a little bit.
Oh dear, we don't. These are brand new.
All right,
we
hopefully.
have no control over.
Let me know if you can hear me, or
it's
if
perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Our work is representing, restoring, and redirecting struggling youth in Evanston. We represent Evanston youth in court as well as in school discipline and special education matters. Most of you are aware of our more than 30-year history here representing kids in juvenile court and providing integrated social work services to the youth who are involved in the juvenile justice system. Some of you may not be as aware of our relatively new special education practice, which serves children of all ages. So we have kids pre-K all the way through elementary, middle school, and of course high school. This practice is a rapidly growing area of our business as families who have kids who are struggling in school hear about how we can help them, we can advocate for them and help them get their kids the supports and services that they are entitled to by law. Our social work programs are also growing. We help and have always helped our clients through individual therapy and case management. But we now have some new programs that teach skills that allow kids to be more successful in school, in their homes, and in the community. I wanted to focus tonight on 3 of our newer programs, programs that reconnect those who are most disconnected in our community. The first program is actually, it was nice to see Steve, who's a teacher at ETHS. Our first program is an ETHS program, which we are actually expanding this year into the District 65 middle schools. It's called VIP. It's not very important people. It is very important people, but it's the Violence Intervention and Prevention Program. It is an alternative to suspension program, where students who are facing suspension for some kind of a disciplinary incident can learn problem solving and conflict resolution skills so that they can avoid future disciplinary actions. Students who successfully complete this program have their suspensions either waived or reduced so that they spend less time out of school, they're reconnected back into school, and they are in the classroom getting their education. We also began, a little over a year ago, a diversion program, or program that we work actually within the city's administrative hearing system, where young people who are cited with an ordinance violation are offered counseling and/or community service in lieu of a fine, or as an alternative to a fine, monetary fine.
Could you just say publicly what some of those violations are? Because the public might not know what you're
Absolutely.
talking about.
And in this case, the only ordinance that we do this for is the marijuana ordinance. So we were asked if we would help those who are cited with this ordinance who elect to do this. Instead of taking a fine, individuals can elect, the judge will order either just community service or community service plus counseling. And we're pleased to say that we've had over 100 people in this program. It's been a little bit more than a year, but we have an 85% success rate. It's actually higher among those who are ordered counseling with community service than those who are just ordered community service. But again, this program connects people to their community. It connects them to helping in their community, and it provides them with counseling, which we think is, again, a good way to reconnect people to the greater community. The other program I wanted to highlight is actually one that we just finished our pilot for this past year. It's called Partnership for Peace. We call it P2, and it's a program that's pretty unique, and we started it specifically to address poor relations between at-risk teenage boys in the community and Evanston police officers. Not all the kids who participated in the program were our clients, but we got referrals from the police themselves, from schools, from people in the community. And we paired up a small group of young men with a small group of Evanston police officers for, we did 5 different events, actually, 5 different events bi-monthly through the school year. The events were designed to be the first hour, something fun, bowling, did laser tag, rock climbing, and the second hour, a discussion facilitated by a professional facilitator about issues like trust, profiling, what it's like to be a teen in Evanston, what it's like to be an officer in Evanston. And the discussions were incredibly open and frank, respectful, but we really saw, and this was our goal, communications developing between people who had not typically communicated well with each other. And we saw people realizing and being able to see each other in a different light and in a different way than they had previously interacted. We are pleased to say that we've secured another grant that was in part sponsored by the Evanston Community Foundation, and although that was a 1-year grant, we've received some new funding to continue that program, and we think it's one of the ways to, again, reconnect kids who are disconnected into the fold of our community. All of our programs and services build connections for clients in other ways, too, because we can't do what we do without the support of the schools. The mayor's summer youth employment program has been tremendous for many of our clients. Peer services, family focus, connections for the homeless, the WISE, YOU, just about everybody that appears before you, we work with in one form or fashion. So we're very grateful for those connections and for the ability to connect our clients to other great resources here in Evanston. I would love to get some of my kids in Steve's program there and get them off to college. For many Evanston kids, the Moran Center is kind of the last stop in the school-to-prison pipeline. And we provide a lifeline to the kids who really need help the most. In addition to just, providing access to justice and education, I think your support to the Moran Center is also a wise investment in a strict economic sense. Recent studies report that it costs anywhere from $70,000 to $120,000 per year per child to incarcerate a juvenile in Cook County. And, I guess the other thing about that is what happens at the end of that. We all know that there's dismal rates of high school graduation for kids that are incarcerated, and even worse employment rates for those people. So you can see why we believe it's critically important to connect kids here in Evanston to the support and access to all that our community has to offer early on so that they can reach their potential and be successful in school, at home, and in our community. In closing, we're really grateful for all the long-term support that we've received from the City of Evanston, and we hope that you'll continue to partner with us in the future.
Thank you so much. Interestingly, you mentioned the younger kids. Jeannie and I had a conversation tonight about the proliferation of very young children, not middle school children, causing enormous issues in terms of what they're claiming their potential is in terms of violence. And so how would, this is on the south end of town, around the Brummel Park neighborhood, how would we engage you to take a look at what we're talking about?
Well, I think,
or does it have to be formally directed to you?
We, we'll serve anyone. We have an income ceiling, but anyone who qualifies for our services, we're happy to serve it. I think one of the ways we like to engage with those families is through our school advocacy and school representation, because a lot of times, if kids are having trouble in the community, they're also struggling in school.
Sure.
So it's not just outside of school that they're having conflict or getting in trouble. So if we can get them to be more successful in school by helping their families advocate through school, then they have the chance to be connected to some of the after-school programs, and they're not suspended for 10 days, and they're not placed into another school where they're really disconnected then from the support of the community.
Well, maybe we could get in touch with you, because
Absolutely.
I'm not sure we're having good luck finding out exactly who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Jeannie, you want to comment?
Yeah, in the cases that we're talking about, these are kids that we can't always identify, meaning that even long-term neighbors don't know the family structures involved or the lack of family structure. What's clear is we have a lot of kids at the elementary level who do not have any modeling for good conflict resolution, and it's proliferating. And in our particular neighborhood that we're talking about here, we're also seeing what we can only call our culture conflicts, because we also have populations that don't have sufficient English language skills to even engage in any of this.
Right.
So this is something that the alderman and I have talked about. We want to find a better, more holistic, more proactive approach to how we intervene and turn these lemons into lemonade.
Well, we're really excited because we received a grant from the Women's Club of Evanston to fund moving our VIP program into the middle schools in the 14-15 school year. So we're going to be the recipients of their benefit show, which means we also, I guess, have to sing and dance in March, but such as it is. But we really think that the skills that the kids need can be taught much earlier than high school, and the effect of teaching them much earlier will have a positive effect both in the middle schools and the high school. District 65 has been incredibly open and receptive to us moving into the middle schools. I mean, I would love, we're doing a pilot in the middle schools with one middle school at Haven this year. We're going to roll it out next year to as many middle schools as District 65 wants us to roll it out to, but we'll try to do at least the three bigs in the 14-15 school year. But if this is, it has been a successful model at ETHS, if this is successful and results in fewer disciplinary actions, we don't see a lot of suspensions at the elementary level, but there are some. And even if it results in fewer being sent to the principals because you were in trouble, that's success, and that's how we measure the outcomes of that program. So we would be delighted to move it down. We also are thinking about expanding our P2 program to try to catch younger kids. Our kids this past year were 15 to 18. We're thinking it might be, if we could get 13, 14, 15.
Well, yeah, and something that I know from my own line of work, I work in particularly with civic engagement for middle schoolers, and we work specifically with middle schoolers because we know if you wait till high school, it's too late. You've lost them. You have to get them when they're thinking through their own commitments before they get the peer pressure at that level. So, and family pressure as well. So
Exactly.
yeah, this would be a great conversation to take up later. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anybody have any questions? Roger, you have anything to offer? Oh, I'm sorry, Peter, I didn't see your light, sorry. Go ahead.
Button. Thank you. So Judge, I'm going to go off subject for 1 second and address something that you said, and I would encourage you to contact District 65. They have resource officers at each school, and so it probably makes sense to, you want to identify the kids just to make sure that they're from District 65. So if, you think that they may be from Oakton School, you just contact the principal, and then depending on whatever time and where they're hanging out, you have the...
We don't even know what school they're in.
Yeah, so at least a district officer, will be able to identify those kids, and I'll talk about that later. But just, so as a follow-up, 2 quick questions. The first number that you shared, I didn't have a chance to write that down, and I've always been very curious to know, what is that annual cost to incarcerate, and is that...
It's been reported everywhere from 70 on the low end, $70,000 per year per kid, to $120,000 per year per kid.
And that's for Cook County?
Cook County juvenile.
Versus how much do we pay for high school? What is that, 30?
About close to, oh,
Or-
you mean
for
incarcerate them,
EHS,
or
yeah.
to go to school?
Cost, no, right, the cost per high school
Over
student.
16,000.
Over 16, that's
I was thinking when the number
Right.
came out, how many kids we could put in high school for that.
exactly, so.
How many
thank you.
college scholarships
Yeah.
you could pay for?
Thank you for sharing that number. And then the other comment/compliment is more to your fundraising efforts. And it's been nice to watch your organization grow and get more diverse with your different revenue lines.
Well,
So
Sarah
can-
keeps telling us that the government money is going away, so we have to do something. So we appreciate Sarah. That is meant as a compliment, but
Yeah.
she's wonderful to work with. But we all know, we all know the government money is not ever going to kind of get back to where it used to be.
And so one of the criticisms in the past is just, the fundraising efforts of your board. And I'm curious if you could just spend maybe 30 seconds and talk about how engaged your board is in fundraising.
Well, Roger's sitting right here, and
First of all, we did, I'm Roger Pascal, I've been on the board almost as long as Judge Moran was before he passed. The board has really, first of all, we started with training, with some professional trainers, and I don't know what you'd call them, but we did some wonderful sessions. We've been focused, really, the foundations and city money is great, but we really focused on trying to increase our individual contributions. Just the numbers first, the amounts will come if you start to get people used to giving. It's my view that it's not that hard to sell, because everybody has had, will have, or has somebody in the high school, or has neighbors who do, and there is nobody that isn't impacted by the folks we serve. So, our main mission, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, is that first interface with the juvenile justice system. If a kid winds up in detention that first time, his odds or her odds of having a successful whole life are so vastly diminished. So all the work we do is great, but it's really important that we have the legal and social services to make that first outcome a good one. If that first one isn't, the odds get real bad. So that's our main focus. But the other programs, including the ones that we're dropping down in the lower levels, are very smart, because they hopefully will diminish our high school population if they're working.
Okay. Anything else? I don't see any lights. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your
But
support.
back when this all started, the community defender was basically completely dependent on the city and CDBG for their funding. Maybe 90%, maybe not all of it. So, the progress that's been made has been tremendous.
Those of us that went through those phases were, they were difficult times. And the program didn't resemble what we have today.
And it was hard on this side, too, because how could we justify, year after year? But we still did. We hung in there. All right, thank you so much.
thanks very
Good
much.
work.
Alderman Rainey, I just wanted to
Oh,
make...
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I turned up my light on while you were talking, so I apologize. It's more of a comment. Being a former prosecutor, I think the Moran Center really embodies balanced and restorative justice, which, many people don't really buy into. And I don't even know how many years I've been sitting on this committee, but the Moran Center, I really feel, has done a great job in the, it hasn't been that long, but it hasn't been that short that I've been on this committee, and I think your organization has done a really great job with making it better and making it a reason for people to buy into balanced and restorative justice. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, next we have Legal Assistance Foundation. Before you start, go ahead. Alderman Holmes and I would just like to say that our sympathies are with you. As you all know, Bill Colin died this year. He's been standing at that podium, I don't know, since he was this little. I mean, just for years and years and years, and always with such a fabulous presentation. And he was so humble when they had to move to Chicago out of 828 Davis. I mean, it was just, he just made it all, happen, and it was very sad. And Alderman Holmes told me something really interesting today about him.
Well, I told Ann I couldn't get out of the habit of calling him Billy because when I first started Family Focus in 1976, he was very good friends with Rick Weisbord. And they were my first two volunteers at Miller School to help me clean up the area to make the first Family Focus Center.
And how old were they, high school?
They were high schoolers, yeah. So, we go all the way back to that. So when I became an alderman and then I was on this side and he was over there, we often laugh after he's made his presentation about cleaning up Miller School for Family Focus. So have wonderful memories of it.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for your condolences. We are still grieving the loss of Bill Colin, as this whole community is. He was the face of legal services in Evanston, and
Yes.
He's got big shoes to fill for me. So I am.
Well, it'd be great legacy if
Yeah,
we do that.
Thank you. My name is Cynthia Sadkin, and I'm the Director of Client and Community Services at LAF, which was formerly known as the Legal Assistance Foundation. Our phone number is 312-341-1070. Our website address is www.lafchicago.org. That's L as in legal, A as in assistance, F as in foundation, chicago.org, I'm sorry. Our intake lines open weekdays at 8 a.m., and we want people to know that it's best to call in early and to request a callback so that they don't have to wait on hold. 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, it's best to call early. LAF provides free legal services in non-criminal matters to people living in poverty, seniors, veterans, homeowners at risk of foreclosure, and other vulnerable groups. Our intake staff speak English, Spanish, and Polish, and we provide free interpreters for any other language. For almost 40 years, we operated out of several neighborhood offices, including an Evanston location, and we did consolidate into a downtown Chicago office almost 2 years ago and closed our neighborhood offices. However, we continue to serve Evanston residents through our central intake line. We have a help desk at the Skokie Courthouse, and we also have a community engagement unit, which offers Know Your Rights workshops and community legal presentations on a range of topics, such as legal rights for survivors of domestic violence, consumer protection, tenants' rights, and foreclosure basics. We've been invited by the Evanston Public Library to do a series of presentations, which we are in the process of scheduling later this month. And we offered a 5-workshop series at the YWCA North Shore last year, and we're on track to do 4 more this year. We're also seeking to establish direct referral relationships with community organizations in Evanston so that when their clients have a legal problem, they have a fast track to intake for LAF services. We have to acknowledge that the number of Evanston residents served by LAF declined last year, but we believe our community engagement plan and development of a strategic referral relationship will be effective corrections to the decline. In addition to building upon our existing relationships with the YWCA and other service providers, we're actively cultivating relationships with other organizations, some of whom we connected with at last week's community picnic, where we distributed 700 brochures to Evanston residents, and hopefully some of them will be calling us. Our services range from legal advice and counseling to negotiation to full representation in court and administrative hearings, appeals in state and federal court. Here's a sampling of the results we've achieved for Evanston residents so far this year. Our public benefits practice group obtained a waiver of a $125,000 Social Security overpayment, including reimbursement of $30,000 in benefits wrongly recouped from our client. Our children and families practice group obtained a divorce for a senior citizen, which included a maintenance award, which is what people call alimony, that virtually doubles her monthly Social Security income, as well as getting her a portion of her ex-husband's pension. Our housing practice group prevented an eviction of a Section 8 Housing Choice voucher holder who lives with her 87-year-old mother and 2 grandchildren. Our consumer practice group saved a family home where they lived for more than 15 years from foreclosure and obtained a payoff amount almost $200,000 less than the amount claimed by the lender. More than 250 Evanston residents have been impacted by our services so far this year, whether they've received extensive legal advice or have been saved from a $200,000 debt. Each benefited from the substantial experience of our full-time staff attorneys and paralegals. LAF is the only agency that can provide comprehensive free legal services to Evanston residents, and we respectfully seek your support to continue the work we've done in this community for 40 years.
How do we get people to Skokie? I mean, do they know the help desk is there?
Well,
I'm just
yeah.
trying to figure out how to increase the clientele from Evanston.
Right. Our website does include information on where our help desks are. We have a flyer that's handed out that says where to get free legal help. It includes help desk information. And every time we meet with any organization, we let them know the various ways that they can get in touch with us. The help desk is for tenants, by the way. It's for eviction defense only, and it's on Friday mornings because that's when evictions are heard at the Skokie Courthouse.
But for example, if I were to call up, I was a tenant, and I called up either Senior Services or the City of Evanston or wherever, and said, help, or their alderman. And I think I'm getting evicted, I need to get some advice, my landlord's doing this, my landlord's doing that. Do those agencies tell them immediately, get out to the help desk quickly out at Skokie? I mean,
I guess I can't answer that question, but
we
I
should find out.
Yeah,
We
I
should
agree.
really
I would
find
also suggest that it's best to call into our office because
No, but if these people don't know that.
Yeah,
and they
I know.
They'll call the only person they know or the only agency they know. And they're going to, because most people, and my whole background was in tenant work, but most people wait till it's too late, usually. But let's say they wait a day before it's too late. Does anybody tell them about the help desk? I just think it's so critical.
Well, we can certainly focus on that in some of our outreach efforts to make sure that the word gets out, because we want people to go there for help, and we want them to call our office, we want them to check our website and all the resources that we can provide. We have just really begun our engagement with different organizations in Evanston that we hadn't ever really done before, and in part because, like I said, the number of clients served from Evanston has gone down in the last year. And we were a little surprised to see that because our suburban client services overall hasn't gone down percentage-wise compared to Chicago residents, but Evanston has been affected more perhaps because we had an office here and we didn't have offices in every suburb. We're not, completely sure of all the reasons why, but we realize that we need to do more to make sure that our services are available to this community. And we have good relationships with the YWCA, with connections. I was speaking with Kathy Lyons earlier. She knows about us, and they're referring clients to us. The North Shore Senior Center has invited us to speak to their case managers. We will make sure that they tell their clients. So we're getting the word out, and we'll continue to beat the drum and do that.
And another suggestion I would have is that when people call other agencies for information, especially on housing issues, it is not only my opinion, but based on certain factual information, they are getting bad information, very bad information. The landlord-tenant ordinance is being misinterpreted in many cases. It's not being fully explained. There are provisions in the landlord-tenant ordinance that nobody ever tells a tenant about. So I think some of those things are just really important.
I agree, and one of our ways of getting that information out is to train service providers, not just the
That's what I'm
clients, but the
talking about,
service
right.
providers, to give them landlord-tenant information. We have service provider presentations for consumer rights. We focus on our audience, so if we're training trainers or we're training service providers, we'll give them that kind of information and how to get resources. If we're trying to get information directly to clients, we're going to gear it a little bit differently and do more, like before and after testing, things like that, to try to make sure that people actually learn the information. So our community engagement unit is looking at all the different ways to get information out, how to make sustainable connections, and we may find that we want to do clinics to teach people how to write a conditions letter or how to get a security deposit back, if that's what the needs are. We're going to be asking organizations, what are the needs that you are seeing for your clients, and how can we best serve them? So we are, our strategy is to rely on other organizations to help us get our information out and help us get information from them so we know what people need the most. And it sounds like that would be one of the focuses.
That would be excellent, yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? No. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
and
very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Our thoughts are with you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, is Senior Center here? No. Oh, you're here. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, this part of, all right, North Shore Senior Center, case management for low, moderate, and income seniors.
Good evening, and thank you. And indeed, we did invite them to come and talk to our staff to give us the updates, to make sure our staff is on top of how to deal with all these issues with the change in their location. So, my name is Liz Gordon. I'm Director of North Shore Senior Center's Evanston Social Services Office. We're located at 840 Dodge Avenue, and our direct number is 847-864-3721. Our website is www.nssc.org, and my email address is egordon@northshoreseniorcenter.org. Jordan Lohr, unfortunately, could not be here tonight, so he did send some comments along. I'll start with our office serves seniors and their families, including in the Evanston community. We're located in Evanston, which really works very well for a number of our programs for Evanston residents. Our office serves at this time about 2,800 open clients, and many of the clients are the most vulnerable seniors in our communities. Jordan's comments are, and this is actually some of the good news, payment timeliness from the state has improved. They were running behind 6 to 9 months and up to $1 million, and I can tell you on our budget that was really very, very difficult to get through. They're not perfect, and they never will be, but at least it's improving. So he wanted to share that, me to share that with you. We are really in the throes of putting in place elements of the Affordable Care Act, and that would be transferring or coupling the services we give with the managed care organizations for the clients we serve. At this time, those would be the Medicaid clients. And starting roughly in January, it would be the dual-eligible Medicaid, Medicare clients. So we're working very closely with the insurance companies that are involved in this. It's quite challenging. It's challenging to the state and to us and to the managed care organizations, quite frankly, but we all have wanted affordable care, and so that's what keeps us kind of cheered up. It's difficult, but it's really worth the effort. Also, Jordan and all of us are very worried about the real prospect that there's going to be a reduction in amount of funds for certain seniors, and those would be our most vulnerable seniors who are not on Medicaid. In our office, that would be 20% of our clients who have the community care program would lose those services if the state and when the state moves to no longer funding non-Medicaid clients. So that is a concern. To address that concern, we're really revving up kind of the development end of what we do in terms of donations, grants, and so forth, and also looking at a fee-for-service piece of what we do in social services. So let's see. And those were Jordan's comments, and he thanked me for doing this tonight without him. Okay. Oh, I always like to tell a client story, and I always start off by saying, really, there are 2,700 wonderful stories of the clients we serve, and every one of them is worth telling, but I can only probably do one tonight. So client story, and given the late time of the evening, I'm going to read so I don't miss anything. The client, an 81-year-old woman, lives in Evanston, and she has for many, many years. I think she grew up here and has lived here for many years. She had been admitted to a local hospital following a fall, and falls are a huge risk for our seniors. The injury, luckily, wasn't serious, and she was discharged home. The Choices for Care program case manager, based on what she saw of the client's overall circumstances, called our office because she was very concerned about this individual. She made the referral to the Evanston Social Services office and provided information to the intake coordinator, who completed the NAPIS intake form, and that is a National Aging Persons Information System that we use at North Shore Senior Center. So all the data we use for outcomes and everything go into that system. The client was described as frail, living alone. She had no family or friends. Her spouse, who appeared in good health and who had been helping her as she became more and more frail, had passed away unexpectedly 7 months ago. So she was in the throes of grief and really having difficulty in adjusting to how to take care of herself or reach out and seek help. And she was, we always ask whoever calls in to intake, does the person know that you're referring the person in? It's very important when we call that person that we know whether or not that person, and so this person had agreed to be referred in to us. The client was assigned a case manager who arranged a home visit, and during the first visit, the case manager sat and got to know the client. Now, we always talk about doing a 21-page assessment, but really we don't walk in there and say, okay, spell world backwards. I mean, we really do not start off with that. So we sit and talk with the client, try to get some sort of a social history where the client is at the time, and then we do, in fact, do the 21-page, very comprehensive assessment. The findings included a number of health problems. The client had high blood pressure, arthritis, weight loss. From her own report, we asked, have you gained or lost weight in the last 6 months? And the client had lost a considerable amount of weight, not related to the fall. She had become isolated following the death of her husband and was having difficulty adjusting to living alone. I think she had been married 60 years, somewhere around 60 years. So. And she had become increasingly frail because he had helped her with a number of her activities of daily living. When he passed away, there was no one there really to meet those needs. The case manager developed a plan to provide a number of supports to address the client's identified needs. She arranged for home-delivered meals and grocery shopping to improve the nutritional status, began providing counseling. We do supportive counseling, and the grief counseling or counseling related to loss in seniors is huge. They're losing friends, family members, they're losing their own health, so we did provide, are still providing supportive counseling. The installation of bath bars, smoke detectors, emergency home response system to help that client stay in her home safely, which is very important. Our main mission is to keep people in those homes where they really want to be. So The client in the story has been open for services for over 4 years. When we open a client, we can have them open 10, 12 years and 2 or 3 volumes. So she is assessed routinely for any additional needs, and as they arise, she's able to live at home. In addition to the early supports, the client now participates in social activities at the Levy Senior Center, which is just great, you know. So thus reducing her social isolation. And note, as always, we're very careful to change enough information in these stories so that this client cannot be identified. So if you think when you heard that you know her, you don't. We very much obviously appreciate all the support that we've gotten through the CDBG funds. They are meaningful, and they're more meaningful, of course, now in this environment than ever before. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's just such a long-running program. We all know.
Yeah,
I
yes,
have one, Ann.
yes, yes.
You know, we know what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Alderman Holmes.
Just wondered, are you connecting your seniors with the Erie Health Center?
With Erie, we are when they fit. They're not taking Medicare clients at the Erie Center, but yes, the clients that are eligible to go there, yes, we are, absolutely so. Yes, we're connecting them to just about everything we can find to connect them to, so, yes. And the health part is just huge. Now, they don't do home visits. You know, many of our clients are pretty much homebound, so if they're going to go, then we arrange transportation, things like that. So, but yes, we are. Yes, it's a great program. So,
Anybody else? No. Thank you so much.
you're so very welcome. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, meals at home. You have to reassure us that this isn't going to fall apart when you leave.
Thank you. I just thought, these are our most recent newsletters, which did come out a while ago, but they have lists of all of our volunteers.
Go to the microphone. And you don't have to get close. The problem
Yeah,
with these is
I
that
can
they will pick you up from far away.
I just thought you might see people you know who volunteer for us, and you might not have known that they do that. Okay, I'm with Meals at Home. I'm Patricia Carlson, Post Office Box 279, Wilmette, Illinois, 60091, 847-251-6827. And it's Meals at Home at sbcglobal.net, www.mealsathome.org. Thank you for your consideration of our request. Meals at Home provides food for adults of all ages. Our clients have difficulty shopping for food, cooking, or planning nutritious meals because of health problems or frailty. We will also provide food for a family member who is caregiving for one of our clients. Volunteers began delivering our meals on October 9th, 1968. The meals are delivered at noon 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, including holidays. Clients choose their delivery days and can cancel delivery if they have an appointment or conflict. They pay only for the days that they get food. We deliver meals in Evanston, Wilmette, Kenilworth, Winnetka, East Glenview, and East Northfield. Currently, we have 106 clients, and 75 of them live in Evanston. We offer food for general diets and for at least 8 special diets. Evanston Hospital and St. Francis Hospital are our main food providers. Three Crowns Park provides food for up to 20 clients on Mondays. Each delivery from these 3 kitchens includes 2 meals, lunch and dinner. The food is completely prepared, ready to eat. One meal is hot, the other is cold. The food is low in salt, fat, and cholesterol. From January through May, clients can order soup and sandwiches from Captain Nemo's for Wednesdays, and clients who have won our drawing receive gourmet meals from Jilly's Cafe on Thursdays. We have a friendly visit program where clients and volunteers have found companionship. These relationships often work very well. One Evanston client is homebound following a stroke. Her daughter told us that her friendly visitor, Joyce, is, in her words, absolutely wonderful and was an excellent choice. This Meals at Home visitor is pretty much the only person who comes to see her mother now. We also have a grocery shopping program. This is open to people who receive our home-delivered meals 3 days a week. Clients are matched with a grocery shopping volunteer who will go to the store and get paper products and things like coffee and ice cream for them. There is no charge for these two programs. We met with the Hillside Food Pantry and the New Trier Township Food Pantry this year to arrange for our clients to get free food from them. A few of our homebound clients are able to do some cooking, but cannot afford to buy food. To help them get free food, our grocery shoppers can pick up food from these pantries once they are registered there. We have 350 volunteers. About 70 of them deliver meals on 35 routes each week. This volunteer work is valued at about $168,000 every year. Board members conduct a client survey each year. This year, the overall rating was 4.8 from a range of 1 to 5, where 1 was low and 5 was high. Wouldn't be good if it were the other way around. All it takes to start delivery is a phone call. We do not need an in-home assessment. Meals at Home clients pay a fee for each delivery. We offer a sliding scale. In the last fiscal year, 65% of our clients had reduced fees, and the average reduced fee was $3.70, which is well less than half of what our full fee is. This is for one delivery of 2 meals. We were awarded 13 grants last year. 53% of our contributions were from individual donors. Grant money from the CDBG will help us pay subsidies for Evanston clients with low incomes. Recently, an Evanston client called. She thanked us for our food and said, "I feel very well taken care of and actually loved by you." Oh. We are very grateful to the City of Evanston for your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody, I mean, what can you ask?
Thank you.
Anybody? I don't see any. So when are you leaving, Patsy?
December 31st.
December, okay, so
so
everything's cool
got
until
a
then,
few
and you have
months.
your replacement in place?
They're working. There's a search committee. They're actively looking for somebody, so.
Oh, well, you have done an unbelievably amazing job.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know you have.
That means so much to me. Thank you.
Yes. So maybe the new person will bring you next time, so we don't lose touch. You know?
Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it. You can be sure of that.
I'm sure you will. One of the great things for people who might be new or who are listening, is one of the great things about this program, in addition to feeding people, is that these women and men who are the volunteers can get in when others cannot get in. For example, I know several cases where they've gotten in a home and seen things that you don't want to see, but they saw them and reported them. And I mean, it's just so important. And also the elevator stories at the
oh, you're never going to forget that, are you?
The elevator stories, these people were walking up flights and flights of stairs.
9
and
flights of stairs.
Nobody was complaining.
Yeah,
It's amazing. So it's been a great relationship.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Evanston's been really good to us.
Well, look at what you've done for us. Yeah, all right. Well, go home, get home. It's only 9:30. So thank you very much. Good luck. All right, that's our last presenter. And next is staff or citizen comments. Citizen has made all their comment. Does our staff have any comment?
I do not.
No? Good. Good girl.
Next meeting, sir?
Oh, our next meeting is, yeah, they're all out of whack. So tell us when our next meeting is.
Next meeting is Tuesday, the 10th, again, beginning at 7 p.m. It will be outside agencies, mostly the capital projects, a handful of public services, because we tried to not have anyone have to come back twice. So some of the organizations that have 2 requests.
So you're talking about alleys, curbs?
Nope.
No?
Nope. That'll be it'll be things like Family Focus,
Oh, okay.
YOU, the YMCA, YWCA. So again, it's all the outside agencies.
Oh, outside.
Yeah, yeah. And then our final meeting for reviews on the 18th will be the City of Evanston.
Okay, got it. All right, see you all 7 o'clock.
We have a meeting on the 26th. Don't we have a meeting on the 26th?
The 26th is the funding night meeting. Yes, that's funding decisions. Yep.
And then when's the third meeting?
So the 5th, we just finished. Then the 10th, the 18th, and the 26th is the funding decision.
So the 17th meeting got moved to the 18th?
Yes.
Because that, oh yeah, because that was
Mashup.
mashup, yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
The 24th got moved to the 26th.
Right.
Yeah, and I can't do the 26th. No, but I'll still my stuff.
Huh?
I can't do the 26th, I'll still my stuff. Because it's the gun violence forum at Northwestern with Congressman Schakowsky and
Oh.
that whole group. And
Well, maybe we can talk about that. I don't know.
No, I don't, I'll just.
No, but I mean, it's important. I mean, is that the funding night?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's funding night. Yeah, so let's figure it out. All right, everybody listen up. We might change that 26th, the funding night. What night is your conflict, Alderman Hanson?
On the 18th.
The
So I will
18th,
not-
okay.
and I
No.
won't be here next week.
Okay, the 10th. Okay.
And I won't be there.
And you won't be,
We'll have the MWPD that night starting at 6.
but we won't be, but you can come afterwards, can't you? Yeah, you're in the building.
I'm in the building.
Yeah, okay. Well, you'll be late, okay, but please come. Okay. All right, could we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, thank you. Good night, everybody, thank you.